Okay, welcome in the picture quality workshop. I will deal mainly with three topics here. One is P5, the other one is HOG, and some sneak preview of Quantum Dot. Before I go into some more details on some other elements, here you see a range overview of the picture quality elements throughout the range from entry up to premium. As you know from us, so this is first half picture. Second half picture, the premium part will grow a bit, more or less. But at this moment, 7.5 and 9000 new OLED are already two gorgeous premium products, which basically are with the P5 engine in there, which is one of my main highlights in this presentation. The other elements you see from top to bottom, like resolution, so Full HD, UHD, LED technology, direct LED exit, or OLED. Number of nits in case of the OLED, it's about peak light. The other ones, it's about full light. 100 and 200 hertz, or commercial naming. In reality, 200 hertz frame rate means 100 native. 100 hertz frame rate means 50 hertz native for full clarity. Natural motion from 7000, so from 100 hertz native refresh rate panels and up, it's perfect natural motion. The flavors in micro dimming. And then one of the new key features, I'll come back to it, is perfect contrast linked to the P5 engine. So you see from 7.5 and up. New HDR standard HOG on top of HDR10. The different flavors in our own marketing on HDR flavors. HDR Plus from 6482 HDR Premium, mainly because of white color gamut panels, and of course the OLED, besides what we call HDR Perfect, also planned to hold the UHD Alliance Premium logo, which I am confident we're going to get, as it is the same or even a better panel than the 901F, and it has a P5 engine processing, so should be manageable. Premium colors, as I mentioned, so white color gamut from 6.4 and up, and P5 from the 7500. Bottom line is about different PPI numbers. Very commercial. I know for some of you, maybe not so relevant, as you can handle more the details, but for normal consumer, we try to make it easy. The higher the number, the better picture quality he gets from things like sharpness, color, contrast, motion, and artifacts. P5, 5 areas. I know I've always been talking about 4 areas in the past. Now we're adding the source perfection to sharpness, color, contrast, and motion. It's relevant, or it makes sense to include that into the story. Certainly with the new sources that came in, like HDR, being already from a source point of view more perfect, it makes sense to include that into your PQ story. This is a very high level story, it's so perfect. Later on I'll go into a bit more detail. So in terms of perfect sharpness, I would say to the consumer, our marketing will be mainly around ultra resolution. In terms of motion, it will be, of course, mainly about perfect natural motion. In terms of contrast, it will mainly about the micro dimming, flavor in the TV, and all our P5 models are at least micro dimming Pro, but some of them are even micro dimming perfect, and some in the second half of the year you will micro dimming premium see appearing again. Perfect colors coming mainly from wide color gamma panels and 17-bit color processing, which is a key asset of our P5 engine. And source perfection, here the positive message to the consumer about HDR, a better source, a better picture, better contrast, colors and sharpness. So it's all about better. To the normal consumer, life is beautiful. But this is a bit more detailed. For you guys on P5, I think a normal consumer cannot handle this, but you can. Here you see a lot more picture quality features that are in the engine, and believe me, there are even more than those. But I think this is already enough to show you how good the quality of a P5 can be. The right sequence, the way that the P5 works, is it first perfects your source if it is not perfect, and after that does sharpness enhancement, and after that does color conversions and improvements, contrast as the last but one step, and motion. You see different colors and textures in the fields. Some of them are current, well, old is maybe a negative word, but are existing features we have in our current Perfect Pixel Ultra HD engine. But many of them are improved, and many of them are, which is the textured fields, and many of them are also new, which are the intense fields. If you compare that to the Perfect Pixel Ultra HD engine, then it will, apples to apples, 1 to 1, it would look like this, meaning that there is much more in the P5. Because you see in the top line, all similar features are in there, and the new ones are of course missing, and you see also like some of them current versus improved. Basically what I try to show you is that Perfect Pixel Ultra HD engine was 3 chips. P5 is only 1. And you could, some of you will say, well, 3 chips must be better than 1. No, actually not. Because basically what you have is that P5 now is doing the right picture processing at the right moment. Starting with doing your source perfection, and then your sharpness, and so on. While if you look to the top line, you see that in Perfect Pixel Ultra HD engine, we were first doing some color, then some source perfection, which is good before sharpness. But later on, the source wasn't completely perfect. We needed to do a lot more source perfection, while we already did some sharpness enhancement. We know sharpness enhancement, or meaning creating more sharpness. If the source is at that moment not yet perfect, you will boost also those artifacts. We had to do it like that in the past, because the different picture quality features were spread over 3 chips. And there was no choice then to do those in the first part, because they were not existing in the second and third chip. Now it's all in 1 chip. Still we have 3 chips in our TV, but we're not using for picture processing anymore chip 1 for doing picture processing. One of those 3 chips is now our own chip, which we started off the work 2 years ago when we moved from Bruges to Ghent. And now finally that chip made it in the TV, P5 chip. When you will open the TV, you will uncover the cooling plate, which is on top of those kind of devices, you will find back P5. It's all now concentrated in one device, in the right sequence, right order. As I mentioned, the improved ones, which are the textured fields, if you count them versus our current engine, you will find back roughly 25% improved features. So things which make sense to keep them, but we improved things that we learned that, well, created artifacts or did not do enough, that kind of stuff. And another, the intense fields really highlighted ones are new processing, and also those are like 25%. Some of the new ones now, and not all of them because it's a long list, I would like to share with you. One of them, for instance, is smart bit enhancement. It's 14-bit precision processing, actually resulting into the right-hand side picture. Banding you can have from coding artifacts done by the source provider can result into mainly into plain colors, fields like skies, like you see some quantization, some artifacts. With smart bit enhancement, we can clean it completely up without losing the detail which might be in that picture, like in this case in the mountain. Another source perfection feature is what I call the P5 Advanced Digital Natural Motion, digital noise reduction. Sorry. Incoming picture, you see quite noisy in the sky, trees very detailed. Currently, the main goal of, or the main problem with this source was noise, so we were cleaning this thing up, but eating up sharpness. Now we are able to clean it up as much as the past, but not losing so much sharpness. So all in all, it is source perfection, but without detail loss. You see two elements as we're really powerful, putting into P5 more attention to source perfection. Perfect contrast is also one of the key highlights in the P5 engine. And for those who listened well in previous IFA workshops, you have heard about this. In our really top flagship product, like in a 901F currently, we have one extra device, an FPGA, which already had this feature. So we were doing it in the top of our range already, only in one flagship. Now this comes in our general engine, as you have heard from Costas, and I told you also here, is now down in starting from the 7,000 range. Key element here, or key word, is local. It enhances your contrast local. It's something you do in video processing. It works on top of your display contrast. And actually, some example here from left incoming picture, what does local mean? It will, on areas like the lady in the picture, will do tricks with the sharpness, with the contrast. The black level preservation will remain in black holes there. And in general, the aim of this feature is to create more light, as more light means you get more contrast into your picture. And the last but not least is a brand new feature called Detail Enhancer on top of our ultra resolution upscaling, making it again so much sharper. And after my slides are finished, I will show you some of those four I've now shown you on PowerPoint. I will show you some stuff in reality. So all in all, 25% improved, 25% new, I would say 50% more performance. Some words, background words on HLG. We are going to add HOG in our entire 2K17 range. You all know what HOG is there, mainly for broadcast. One of the big advantages of HOG HDR is it's backwards compatible with current TV, so you don't get a black picture, but you get a picture also on your normal SDR products. It is display and source independent, and yeah, it will as I said, mainly be used by broadcast, so you cannot skip that format. Within the different formats, which I would say that these are the 4 now in the running. HDR10 we did already, and we will continue with that. Hybrid or Gamma is now the one we're going to add, and by doing those two, you actually give the consumer full access to all HDR material. It would be nice to add Dolby Vision, but read my words, nice. I mean, it's not necessary. You don't miss any content. Moreover, I would say we don't need Dolby Vision to currently give consumers a good HDR performance. We know what we're doing. We know how to tune a display in view of HDR, and we don't need Dolby Vision for that. Moreover, if Dolby Vision would take care of that or interfere in that, it might even diminish our differentiating power in picture processing. Having said that, we'll keep on watching, monitoring Dolby Vision all the time, as moving into dynamic metadata HDR might be relevant to pick up that element. But so far, at this moment, we're future-proof with those two formats, HDR10 and HOG, and that's what we're going to do. I know that question list, because this is now the last workshop I did, and I got it twice, so I can answer the question now before you raise it. Our 2K16 HDR models will all be upgraded to HOG when they do the move from Android L to N. Having said that, 901F OLED flagship TV from us now is already Android M, but that TV will, before the summer, get its upgrade, probably the same timing, maybe even earlier than other models are upgraded from L to M. You will see later on a demo of now already a test software on 901F here in this room. Okay, and the last part of my presentation is a sneak preview on Quantum Dot, as it was one of the buzzwords on at CES. And of course, you want to know what we're going to do. I cannot reveal you the last details on this, but we are working on Quantum Dot. We will come with Quantum Dot, but bear with me later for more details, let's say second half of the year. Okay, Quantum Dot, what is it? It's nanoparticles which are different in size depending on the color, doing different wavelengths, as you can see here, resulting into narrow color peaks and good color separation, making very wide color gamut colors, while not interfering between other colors. As you can see, the dotted line is the color spectrum currently from blue, green, and red, where green and red are more running into each other, and with Quantum Dot you really have those wide separation and much more intensity, so wider color gamut. We're looking into the solution on how to do Quantum Dot, and there are two technologies there in the air. One is tube quantum dot, the other one is film quantum dot. The table below you can see that, for instance, if you take the, what is it, let me go closer. Take like this, these lines, you see that actually both tube and film can do the 95 to 100% white color gamut, but it's done at a different efficiency ratio. And when you combine even that with a white color gamut cell, it's even at a lower efficiency ratio. So it is a bit, yeah, there are many elements playing a role in color gamuts at the right light output level, I would say it. Of course, for us to make a choice, but it's not a simple and easy choice, especially it's in many cases also an expensive choice. But having said that, we are going to go, and the early prototype I'm running there, it's not finished yet, but we're going to go for quantum dot film. Why? Mainly because quantum dot film, although a bit more expensive, quantum dot film is more easy in production to apply, and that's why we're going for quantum dot film. The second column, green plus red, KSF phosphorus, is basically our color solution we have in our 64A2 and our 7502. For quantum dot products, and bear with me on exact type numbers for the second half of the year, we're going to go for film. That's in a nutshell some background. I have